The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
What a way to end the year. Min-Hyuk Yang buried a shot with the final kick of the game to give Pompey a wild, last-gasp victory over Charlton at Fratton Park. The match was a classic game of two halves, exploding into life after a truly forgettable first 45 minutes. It was Conor Shaughnessy, making his long-awaited return from injury, who came off the bench to head the hosts in front and seemingly seal the points. But in a gut-wrenching twist, it looked like the South Coast hoodoo against the Londoners was set to continue, when Harvey Knibbs scrambled home an equaliser deep into stoppage time. Incredibly, there was still time for one last attack. Pompey charged forward from the restart, and the ball fell to substitute Min-Hyuk, who kept his cool to slot home and send Fratton Park into delirium. John MOUSINHO had made 3 changes from the side that drew with QPR on Boxing Day. Mackenzie Kirk got the nod to lead the line, with Sugashic and skipper Marlon Pack also starting. Colby Bishop, Callum Lang and Mark Kozhnowski all made way. The big news, though, was the return of Shaughnessy to the bench after more than 3 months out with a hamstring injury. Before kick-off, the ground held a minute's applause to remember Blues fan Alec Lum and Addicks supporter Norman Barker, who both tragically passed away at games this year. Anyone hoping for New Year's fireworks was left sorely disappointed by a first half that was a real snooze fest, lacking any genuine quality. Charlton showed a bit of early intent but never really looked like scoring. Charlie Kelman had a couple of efforts but neither gave Nicola Schmid much to worry about. At the other end, Terry Devlin blazed one high over the bar, and a teasing corner from Adrian Sugashic somehow evaded everyone in the box. Kirk teed up Connor Chaplin, who cut inside and saw his shot blocked, meaning Thomas Kaminski in the Charlton goal had a very quiet half. James Breeze summed up the opening 45 minutes perfectly when he got a chance to whip a free kick into the box, only to shank it straight out for a goal kick. There was one half chance apiece just before the break. Regan Poole had to be alert to hack the ball clear after Miles Lieber nodded it across the face of goal, before a Reece Burke foul on Harvey Blair gave Pompey a free kick, which Pack drilled straight into the wall. Whatever was said at half-time worked, because there were more clear-cut chances in the first 5 minutes of the second half than in the entire first. Charlton went close immediately, with Bree's corner being flicked on by Luke Berry for Burke, whose close-range shot was smartly saved by Schmid. The action flew down the other end, where an angled drive from Devlin was parried by Kaminski. The ball fell perfectly to Zach Swanson, but the fullback thumped his effort into the ground, watching in agony as it bounced up and over the crossbar. It was a much livelier contest now. Kirk hit a shot towards the bottom corner, but it lacked the power to beat a diving Kaminski. The keeper then had to be sharp at his near post to smother a low cross from Blair that had fizzed through a crowd of players. On 64 minutes, MOUSINHO rolled the dice with a triple change. Shaughnessy got a huge ovation as he made his comeback, joined by Min-Hyuk and Kozhnowski, with Hayden Matthews, Blair and Chaplin making way. And the script was written for Shaughnessy. Just moments later, he showed incredible desire to attack a Sugashic corner, powering a fantastic header into the net. Pompey looked to build on their lead, with Kirk controlling a brilliant crossfield pass from Sugashic before his curling shot was pushed away by Kaminski. But as the clock ticked down, the hosts found themselves pushed deeper and deeper as the Addicks desperately searched for an equaliser. In a strange twist, Kozhnowski's return proved to be a brief cameo, as he seemed to pick up a knock to his knee, and was replaced by Ibane Boat. Tyrese Campbell then sent a low shot fizzing narrowly wide, as the pressure mounted. Franco Ume came on for his debut, replacing Kirk, and it seemed Pompey had done enough to see out the 5 minutes of added time. Then, disaster struck. A late corner wasn't dealt with properly, and in the chaos, Knibbs managed to bundle a header over the line. Fratton Park fell silent in disbelief, but the referee hadn't blown the final whistle. Straight from the kickoff, the Blues launched one last, hopeful ball forward. It was cleared only as far as Min-Hyuk on the edge of the box. He took one touch to set himself, and then drilled a low shot into the bottom corner. The Fratton end erupted. It was pure pandemonium, and moments later the final whistle blew to bring an absolutely incredible match to an end.
Yeah, what on earth was that as an end to a game? I thought we'd weathered the storm for the back part of the game, having gone a goal up, and it was always going to be really, really difficult against a side, first of all, as good and as physical as Charlton. And I thought we'd done a job. We'd ended up sort of reinforcing the back line, but ultimately, to concede the equaliser was really really a real body blow. But I wasn't really even paying attention to what went on. The ball just looked like it went in the back of the net, and all of a sudden we're here with 3 points. Yeah, obviously I think I pretty much shared whatever everybody in the ground felt, or every Portsmouth fan in the ground. Just so much disappointment with the way that we conceded the goal. It wasn't the corner itself. It was the fact that in the build up we just gave away a really poor free kick. We hadn't picked up the second balls, and we just invited pressure upon ourselves. And I think whenever we did that, whatever we did in the second half in particular, and to be honest, the first 10-15 minutes, we just invited upon ourselves. We didn't quite recognise at moments when we could play and when we could go beyond. And we settled down after a tricky start to the second half. Ultimately, look, we've won the game, so that's the most important thing. But there's a lot to pick apart. Yeah, I don't remember it. I think I was arguing with the fourth official at the time about time added on, that in terms of when their goal had gone in, and thankfully they had a little bit more for the goal, and obviously for everything else that had gone in the game. And I just saw MOUSINHO take a shot on the ball going in the back of the net, and it was carnage after that, and it's probably one of the loudest I've heard today at Fratton Park. And I think the fans definitely deserved that, because we'd really standout moment in the game. I think at the start of the second half we were struggling, we couldn't get into the game, and the noise levels just went up and up. And I think that's one thing we've been very, very good at home is responding to when the team's just struggling a bit and finding it difficult to get into the game. And everybody got behind the team, and there wasn't frustration there. There was a huge amount of support for what was an okay performance, but thankfully we've come away with the win. Yeah, Shock's has been out for large parts of the season. He was out for large parts of last season as well. And whenever he did come in and play, he was excellent. Looked every inch of Championship centre half. I remember he scored the goal on his return, I think against Cardiff, at the other end. So this was a really good. It was an amazing return to football for Shock. A familiar scene we've seen quite a few times at the Fratton end. And we can talk about set plays and the setup and what we do, X, Y and Z, but ultimately if you have somebody that's really aggressive, willing to attack the ball and attack a good delivery, then you get your reward. So really, really pleased for Shock. So I take the goal out of it. I thought his all-round game was excellent tonight. Yeah, I mean, very, very pleasing. We felt, I guess, a bit thin on the ground today, and with Colby out and Matt coming in, we thought he did a very good job. We ended up replacing him with Franco, making his senior debut out of position. It was really pleasing for the substitutes to come on and make such an impact, and we needed all five of them. And that really important win, I think, to sort of seal what's been a decent run of performances. Probably at times of the 4 games, probably our worst performance, but we've ended up winning the game. We were miles better, I thought, here on Friday against QPR. I thought we were excellent for at least the first 45. So I think it's a good sign. I think it's the first time we've won a game that I felt maybe, I'm not saying we didn't deserve it, but maybe it was much more even than I thought. Every other game I thought we've been really good value for the 3 points. So a really pleasing night.
And not
Zach Swanson on how playing consistently helps his game.
It really is. Playing consistent minutes. It had been a tough time for me. In my first 2 seasons here, I obviously had personal issues and injuries, and really didn't enjoy that time. Last year I really kicked on and stayed fit. I've now been available, obviously not the Derby game through illness, but for every game this season and most of the games last season. I think that's what you have to be at this level. I learnt that pretty quickly coming out of an academy, and it's massive now, staying fit and playing football. Yeah, maybe I'm playing the best football of my career. It's a different position, but I'll probably say I'm enjoying my football the most, having that freedom to play at left back and at right back. Obviously Terry Devlin is doing really well, and we've helped each other, to be honest. I'll probably say this is my most consistent run in my career, played quite a few games there now. I enjoy it. Just playing, to be honest, especially here. I love playing and having a relationship on the left. I've enjoyed it. A different role for me, but it's not too dissimilar to playing right back. It helps me a little bit because I'm right-footed, so I can come inside, stay inside, rotate, and I'm really enjoying it and playing. It's a different part to my game, and I think the gaffer can see that I can play there and that I'm enjoying rotating into midfield. I think I've got that in my game and have been showing that I'm really enjoying it and enjoying my football here.
Time was when players we couldn't work out quite what their best position was were a bit of a liability, but not anymore. It's becoming increasingly important that players, apart from those who play in seriously specialist areas such as number 9 or number 5, players who can play pretty much at the back, in midfield, even getting into the front line, are now important, versatile players in a system that our manager seems to like, which is some kind of a rotational thing whereby players can simply slot into that part of the pitch that seems to them at the moment, the given moment in time, is the right place for them to be. They don't necessarily need to have instructions fed to them from the dugout. It's obvious to them that that's where they need to be. And if they need to move forward more, if they need to overlap if they're a defender, or if they need to get back and cover if they're an attacking forward, those are decisions that they make themselves. And if they have the ability to play in those different positions, then obviously so much the better. And Zach Swanson is turning into one of those.